guys was going past this one cell. So when he yanked the door open, they just throw the cups of boo-boo in there on him.
How do they know that he stood?
Today, on June 2nd, 2026, David's legal team filed a formal request to move him to house arrest, citing the deteriorating conditions of his current confinement. According to investigators, David has become a marked man in every cell block he enters, facing constant targeting from fellow protective custody inmates. This hostility stems from newly surfaced evidence detailing a confrontation with Celeste, where she allegedly threatened to report him to the authorities just days before her tragic passing.
They're saying that the Celeste girl, maybe she was already talking to the cops, like, yeah, this creep is, he on me. Now, granted, who knows if David was trying to leave her or whatever the case is, but look like she would also try to threaten David with that, to say, yo, I'm about to go tell on your, right? Which already he should have knew that he's doing something wrong. Well, I mean, he should have knew of GP, like, she's gang. But she would, allegedly, according to this complaint, she had threatened that, I could ruin your music career or something like that.
To gauge whether the judge will approve his house arrest, one must consider a viral fan reaction that stated, "I want to wish David luck returning to his unit after this hearing. Once the other inmates catch wind of these details, he's finished. Because of the severity of the evidence, David is classified as a high-risk prisoner, requiring him to be held in a maximum security block. However, higher security often translates to more grueling conditions, which is the core of his lawyer's argument. The filing states, David is currently confined to a segregated single cell, escorted by guards even a shower, which only happens every other day. He can only place calls on shower days, receives just 3 hours of outdoor recreation per week, has no television access, is barred from visitors, and reportedly has zero funds in his commissary account." A law enforcement source labeled the jail as filthy and chaotic, a jarring contrast to the multi-million-dollar lifestyle David once enjoyed. His defense team argues he is physically incapable of defending himself behind bars. His arrest record lists him at 5 feet 5 inches and 125 pounds, making him significantly undersized in a violent environment where inmates are targeted specifically for their alleged crimes. Furthermore, his physical health is unlikely to improve on a diet served 6 days a week consisting of macaroni and beef, 1 apple, 8 ounces of milk, and a peanut butter granola bar, a meal many doubt he even touches. Former inmates claim this is the grim reality of one of America's harshest facilities. News reports confirm David was moved to Men's Central Jail in LA County and placed in solitary due to his fame. While some think his celebrity status offers protection, public opinion suggests otherwise. One viral comment noted, "Even in solitary, he still gets 1 hour of recreation where he'll encounter other protective custody inmates who confront him over these charges. There is no hiding from what he did." A former prisoner from the same facility explained that while David is stuck in a cell, other inmates on their recreation break are permitted to walk right past his door.
How are defenders and treated in prison? They got treated bad. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even think nothing about that. I just know that it was like every 15 to 20 minutes that went past, guys was going past this one cell. And it'd be like, there's 3 of them. One of them would grab the cell door and be on this side like this, and then the other 2 would be on this side. So the one, and they did this like every 20 to 30 minutes, every like clockwork. And this one would yank the door open, and the other 2 on this side had cups full of and boo-boo. So when he yanked the door open, they just throw the cups of boo-boo in there on him, and then boom, close the door, lock it on him. So that was crazy. But and then some was getting jumped on, some was getting slapped, extorted, some was getting having to do.
With David having been behind bars for over 6 weeks already, there is no telling what kind of abuse other inmates have hurled at him through his cell bars. This hostility is largely fueled by the severity of the official charges recently announced, which state that David allegedly carried out the act using a sharp object. According to the prosecution, the indictment includes 1 count of murder, murder for financial gain, murder to silence a witness, and murder by lying in wait. He also faces charges for the use of a dangerous weapon and his actions regarding Celeste in the aftermath of crime, as reported by Jesse Weber of Law and Crime.
First of all, we suspected that David would be charged with after that was what he was arrested for, and in other court documents that came out a couple months ago, we know that he was being investigated for murder. But first-degree murder with special circumstances? Lying in wait to murdering a witness as part of an investigation? Murdering for financial gain? And now facing the possibility of the death penalty, even though it's my understanding there is a moratorium in California. That is a huge...
These details are more than enough to put David's life at risk while incarcerated, which is exactly why his legal team is pushing so hard for house arrest. They are openly worried he won't survive long enough to even see his trial date. However, this led to a shocking turn of events. Right after the defense made their statement, prosecutors stood up to deliver a revelation that would shift the entire trajectory of the case. They announced that David's own family members have agreed to testify against him in court. Updated court documents reveal that throughout 2024, Celeste spent a massive amount of time with the defendant, including summer weekends at his Hollywood Hills mansion and traveling alongside him to Las Vegas, London, and Texas specifically to meet his relatives.
To meet his family. So, it is unclear how much David's parents or brother knew about his interactions with Celeste and if they were aware of how she was. But what we do know is that the family was ordered to come to LA and testify, seemingly in front of a grand jury as prosecutors worked to build a case against him. And in court filings regarding this whole back and forth about his family being subpoenaed to testify in LA, there was this section for each witness. Quote, detectives learned that Caleb Burke is the younger brother of target David Burke and has a close relationship with him. Detectives learned that Colleen Burke is the mother of target David Burke and has a close relationship with him. Per several witnesses, she is instrumental to his career success and manages his business finances.
This confirms that David's family was well aware of Celeste, which raises the unsettling question of why they allowed the relationship to persist. Consequently, the prosecution is compelling his family to take the stand. They are convinced that David and Celeste soft-launched their romance during a live stream at a family gathering. Investigators were able to confirm a location after identifying the specific kitchen layout visible in the background of the video.
Yo, wait.
Oh, look it. Answer that one. That's so mean if you don't answer
Which
that.
one? What's good, David? Big family. Oh, thank you. Mitchell.
I gotta sign with him if you even...
Are we
We need to delete this.
Maz, can we delete all VODs? And then as soon as the stream ends, delete the stream too?
However, there's a deeper reason why the prosecution is determined to have the family testify against David. Federal investigators believe David actually confessed his alleged actions to a family member. The evidence file states the defendant used an object against her multiple times and then stood by as she passed away. To put it bluntly, the feds have a witness prepared to testify that David didn't just commit the act, but he also stood there and watched her die, intentionally choosing not to save her.
Defendants multiple times and stood by while she out. How did they know that?
How do they know that he stood there? Because, look, I got to tell you, as an old investigator, you know where I get that kind of information from? It's not from the perpetrator. To say someone stands there and watches an individual out, that comes from a witness.
It appears that whoever David confided in also took active steps to help him conceal the crime. Reports state that David allegedly removed Celeste's left ring and pinky fingers because they bore a tattoo of his name. These remains were never found. Using the alias Victoria Mendes, the singer reportedly ordered 2 chainsaws, a heavy-duty bag, industrial laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool from Amazon, along with shovel from Home Depot via Postmates. This is where David made a critical error that caught the attention of federal agents. Why would one person need 2 heavy-duty chainsaws? The implication is that a second person was operating the other one. Furthermore, evidence links David to an extensive cleanup effort, including footage of him scrubbing Celeste's shoes outside his house, the same pair of Jordans seen in her profile picture taken on a school bus. Finally, the digital trail ends with July 7th, 2025, Amazon order for a burn cage, delivered to his residence under that same fake name as part of a calculated plan to incinerate the evidence.
I've been wondering just what it was that a private investigator named Steve Fisher found inside David's home when he was given access last October. The PI reported seeing, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. And today, we are learning about one of those items.
With those items delivered directly to David's residence, many people question why authorities waited so long to arrest him. But during today's court hearing, as prosecutors argued against granting house arrest, they finally addressed that delay. Investigators revealed that the arrest timeline was intentional because federal agents had wiretaps placed across David's electronic devices, quietly monitoring and collecting every incriminating misstep. Yet, that wasn't the only strategy in play. Officials were simultaneously building cases against members of his inner circle, securing cooperation agreements with witnesses prepared to testify about his relationship with Celeste, essentially strengthening the case before it ever reaches trial. Many investigators believe their key witness could be David's alleged secret partner, Neo Langston. When David was taken into custody, Neo posted on Instagram, "Thank legally fine in every way, and boy do I have all my receipts." Archive photos also showed David and Neo recreating the iconic Titanic pose in bed together, among other intimate moments.
Do you know who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I believe I definitely know who moved that Tesla on that late July before they went on tour. I can't say who the person, and I don't mean I can't say for, but I don't know who exactly was in that house because it's just a report, but there's video, but you can't make a person out. But somebody was in the house, and being that there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access at that time? So is it the same person that moved the Tesla? Was another last part of the plan about to go in motion as far as getting rid of her? I don't know.
Federal prosecutors are reportedly hoping Neo can clarify comments David once made during an interview, where he described wanting to be like an anime character with a dark alter ego driven to commit serious crimes. Pay close attention to the specific example he chose to reference.
Basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego, and the story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving that I'm committing myself. And it was like a cool little story. I didn't think anything would come of it. Like it was in the...
I can't be the only one who sees how obvious this is, right? But there's another recording stored in David's iCloud that investigators are demanding answers about, as it appears disturbingly close to a confession. Detectives first identified a picture frame visible behind in the footage. The exact same frame found inside his private rental property, where Celeste had been staying. They then analyzed the metadata from the file, discovering the timestamp aligned precisely with the window in which they believe Celeste passed away.
Hey guys, I know I haven't posted on this account in a little minutes, but I just had some words to share with you for 2025. Despite all the craziness that's going on, all the turmoil, the natural disasters, the pain, and things like that this year, I just wanted to tell you guys not to be discouraged and not to lose hope and not to turn your face from God in these times of evil. And it seems like it's the most insane start to a year that I've ever seen. But God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. So keep that sound mind, 2025. Stay prayed up.
In that same video, David speaks about multiple passings occurring in his life. When investigators cross-referenced the metadata date, they found no records of family members or close friends dying around that time, leading them to suspect he was actually referring to Celeste, potentially making the clip a direct confession. And that wasn't the only suspicious move. After Celeste was discovered inside the Tesla, David allegedly began transferring major assets out his name, seemingly anticipating his arrest. Reports state, sources believe that after hiring a new legal team and moving assets, David understood law enforcement was closing in and expected to be taken into custody soon, which ultimately is exactly what happened.
You know, transferring these assets in the middle of a investigation, as opposed to 2 years ago or a year ago.
Right.
Could a court look at this and say, this was a deliberate attempt to, what you say, concealing assets, and they could breach it, they could pierce it, they could say, even though that you've transferred this into your mother's name, that was invalid. This is a way for, let's say, a plaintiff who sues him, or let's say in a criminal judgment to pay that fine. Can a court look at that and say, even though you transferred it, it's still open season on those properties?
Yeah, this is what's so puzzling about this. It is a very basic premise of law throughout the country that you can't transfer assets after the event happens that would otherwise trigger collecting on those assets. So we have rules in different states. Sometimes they're called fraudulent transfer, sometimes they're called fraudulent conveyances. There's a lot of different names for them. But the crux of it is you cannot transfer